presents Dr. B, the ultimate legacy builder. PowerTalk is more than a show. It's a global movement. Be global with PowerTalk. One world, many voices, infinite impact. We amplify stories that shape the world through global book talks and showcase legacies that leave a mark. Under the World Book Tour Impact and our Leading Legacies platform, we invite you to dare to be you. Step into your greatness. With Power Talk and Book Talks, we explore life's challenges, highlight inspiring success stories, and uncover profit-building secrets from world-class experts and innovators. Be inspired, gain confidence, elevate your life and business. Thank you for connecting with Dr. B. Together, let's create a legacy that lives beyond us.
Welcome everybody to the Power Talk. Today we're having a book talk where we bring powerful stories. In fact, it's a powerful story, a powerful voice, powerful ideas that inspire us to live with courage and purpose. I am your host, Dr. Angelica Benavides, best known as Dr. B, an international publisher, educator, and humanitarian. Now, through the Power Talk, we highlight authors whose stories not only move us, but they help us grow, heal, and see the world through a deeper lens. Now, today's conversation is especially meaningful because we will explore a topic that touches many lives, but is often difficult to talk about. The journey from trauma to healing and the power of forgiveness. Now, our featured author today is Jorge San Martin, and we will be discussing his powerful book known as Lealtad. So, welcome, Jorge. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for welcoming me. I'm excited about talking about the book. I remember we met in Germany, in Frankfurt. Yes, and it was quite an event to see you there, to meet everybody that was associated with you there, and to hear their stories. And I felt a certain affinity with many of the people that you were representing there. So I'm happy to be here today and provide a glimpse of what Lealtad is.
It was such a pleasure meeting you in Frankfurt, Germany, in that big international book fair, and then when you came to me and you showed me and talked to me about your book, Lealtad. I want you in a minute to kind of hold it up. Means loyalty, but this book explores something deeper. The idea of being loyal to yourself, Jorge, your truth and your healing journey. Jorge was inspired to write this book after seeing a simple yellow sticky note left on a dorm door. On that note, a young woman courageously shared the pain of a date gone wrong. What struck Jorge was the loyalty she showed to herself by refusing to remain silent. That moment became a catalyst for reflection, healing, and ultimately writing this powerful book that we're going to be talking about today. Today, we are going to explore the story behind Lealtad, the message of healing and forgiveness, and why the book is resonating with so many readers today. Now, Jorge, welcome again to the Power Talk.
Thank you.
Book Talk Show. Today, we're honored to welcome you, Jorge, as the author of a powerful and deeply reflective book, Lealtad. Jorge's work explores one of the most complex and important journeys in the human experience, like the path from pain to healing. His writing invites readers to confront difficult emotions and rediscover their inner strength and understand forgiveness as a powerful act of personal liberation. Now, the inspiration of Lealtad began with a simple but profound moment, a yellow sticky note left on a dormitory door where a young woman bravely expressed the pain of a date gone wrong. And Jorge, talk to us about that moment that
I
you
was
saw it and inspired you.
sure. I was working at basically as a custodian in a deep um, in a huge university in the Boston area, and I saw this sticky on a glass door. My job
Mhm.
was to keep that door clean of everything, papers and everything. And I started cleaning with a spray bottle, and I said, "Well, I can't really take this thing down." I
Um,
perceived the pain that she had put in those few words, and I said, "I have to leave it up here so people can see this." And that's how that was one of the events that was crucial for me to start writing the book. I said, well, I have to. I felt that there was loyalty in her note, in her short note, and I said I needed to show that loyalty to myself. I had kept quiet for a long time about something that happened to me in because I wanted to go to school, finish school, and it was a way of studying without having to pay through the tuition remission. But um, her words made me they began a process in me where I needed to heal. I needed to heal through I was seeking a relationship with God and myself that would be healthy. And writing the book was my way of healing. Um, yes, that's I have been wanting to write this book for a long time, in more than 10 years. So there were many levels of healing that needed to happen in my life. And this was how God brought healing to my life. Yes.
yeah, like a lot of people find healing in so many ways, right? And with you, it was that moment of seeing this note and saying, you know what, I have to be loyal to myself. And I think, Jorge, that's one of the pieces that most of people out there in the world, they forget to be loyal to themselves. They want to be loyal to everybody. They want to be people pleasers to everybody to be accepted in society. But one of the things they forget is the loyalty to themselves, and that's a big piece. Now, when you see this message on the door, right,
Mhm.
the young woman's message,
Yes.
the loyalty that she showed to herself, what do you believe that self loyalty, or why do you believe that self loyalty is so important, especially for people who have experienced some type of trauma?
In that particular case, and in my case, it was a defense mechanism. It's how you defend yourself. And sometimes protect and defend yourself takes many shapes. Sometimes it may mean to grab a hand that is trying to attack you. Sometimes it may mean to speak out so other people hear your pain. And so the attack is not kept quiet, which is how people that abuse normally, that's how they succeed through the shame, through the quietness. So yes, that's why it was so important to me, because I saw that she put herself first. It was time for her to grieve, to vent out her anger. And letting the anger out is part of the healing. It's the beginning in a way. Yes. I'm saying it's okay. I feel anger, and I cannot paint it any other way. It's anger, it's raw anger coming out. And speaking out, it's a healthy way of doing it versus grabbing something and doing harm to anybody. So it's it was my way. It's a way that I chose to heal through writing.
And I think that writing is a very important way of healing. As you're writing, even me when I'm writing and I see other authors that are writing their book when we're creating it, the tears start coming up because sometimes the emotion is raw, but you begin to heal it, right? With the
Yes.
tears and everything. But here in Lealtad, you also share your own personal experience of being inappropriately touched by someone in a position of power. I
Yes.
think that a lot of us experience that, where somebody in power, they feel like they're in power, they're in control, and and it does make us very vulnerable. So tell us a little bit about what happened to you at that time.
It was it's something that happened at work. I remember the day like it was today, 5 minutes ago. I remember being touched and then defending myself just by grabbing the hands so it wouldn't happen a second time. I was totally surprised. I felt at my age, I was somewhat in my 50s, I think. I felt I was immune to that. I I didn't think that sort of thing would happen to me. So I felt safe. So it took me completely off guard. And I remember going down the steps and going out the building and feeling like I wanted to vomit. And I remember feeling that I was dirty. Yes, it was something really complex. It was a mixture of emotions. And from then I kept quiet because I wanted to finish school, and not raising a voice was crucial the way I perceived the dynamics at the place where I was working. But as time went by, I started to feel an anger. It's like a low simmering fire. Every time the fire became higher and higher, and the anger became, and to the point that I saw a transfer from the place where I was working to another area, and and then I didn't know how to let this anger, how to heal from that, and I went through a long process of healing where I sought healing, but the true healing began when I began writing, and it became a spiritual undertaking where being spiritually healed is different than going to a psychologist. It's a different dynamic. So that's how the process began.
Like I know that when I was in a leadership position, and I would present my ideas, because I always have tons of ideas, and the thing with me, they're very innovative and they're out of the box, and people feel uncomfortable with it. And I even think they feel uncomfortable with me because I'm so out of the box. So it becomes very devastating, and it does feel sadness, and sometimes we feel that rage, right? But then we have to tap into that forgiveness piece. And like you said, writing has become a way of healing. And then I know that my way of healing was, you know what? I'm going to retire. I'm going to create my own business. I'm going to be me. I'm going to create me in a
Yes.
different way. And so
Mhm.
have you. You've created you through Lealtad. So for the readers who pick up that book, Lealtad, what do you hope they take away from this book? Can you show it to them? Yay! Let me
Yes.
bring myself down. Tell them.
Say again. Well, Lealtad, it's a multi-layered book. It's not just one thing that's happening. Basically, when you start healing, you cannot just heal one area of your life. You have to heal everything that's actually is inside, because normally when something hurt us, we hide it within ourselves. I used to have the idea of that I had put things in a drawer that I only could open. And my first impact was when I was 3 months old in my mother's womb, and I learned that she had tried to abort me. And from that, I kept that quiet until I learned when I was 8 years old, and I couldn't deal with that at the time. I had no tools to deal with it. So that remained quiet until I was in my 50s. So more than 40 years it was hidden. And so when I started writing Lealtad, that also came to the surface. So the healing became complete. All areas of my life, you cannot heal just one area, but you had to heal your whole self. And that's what happens with this when this healing is from a spiritual perspective. It heals your whole being.
Well, tell us a little bit like about the book. Let's have a book talk. Like, if you want to kind of go through the chapter titles, like what are the titles of the chapters, and so that people get an essence of what, if they pick up the book, what are they going to read, so that, you can kind of show them the book and kind of go through it. And then that way, I think, you know what, when you're showing it, I think you even gave me one. So go ahead and talk about it for a little bit.
The book doesn't have titles. I have thought about it, but I decided against the titles. But it begins with a prologue, and the idea is that this young man is working at this candle factory. He creates this illusory tale for his class project, where he's taking a writing class, and he has to present it to his professor. So the story intertwines real-time events with fictionary events. In the first chapter, begins with receiving a call from a friend. In that call, he said, well, tomorrow I'm going to double tap JB. 2 shots, one in the crotch and one in the head, in that order. And then we're going to toss him over the roof. And he hangs up. So he gets desperate because he realizes that if he let his friend do that, he's going to be trapped forever in this guilt. And that's how I began to construct a metaphor to work throughout the book the idea of healing, that if you hold on to the guilt, and sometimes it's really heavy and powerful within ourselves, it's living within ourselves. So holding to that guilt, if you don't decide to take it out through constructed through a health, through healing, it begins to fester inside. And the book talks about that, and the story is a fictional story, and there is a story within the story that's happening. One is happening real time, and the other one is being written as a project for a class. And so basically, it's a murder it's being talked about, it's being planned, and he begins to examine himself, that he wants to commit this act, but at the same time, he feels that if he does it, it's going to be dreadful for him. And he has to examine his own emotions of feeling pleasure with planning something that's awful. So he has to look inside also, as well as the outside, what has been done to him. So in that way, it's not a light book. It's very heavy, and the scenes are powerful. The end of the book is powerful. What happens at the end of the book? There are many characters, shady characters, flaw characters. Normally, I write flaw characters. I never written a character that's completely healthy mentally, never. Most of my characters in all the books are deep flaws.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, because when we are experiencing these hard emotions within us, and when you begin to reflect, even when people pick up this book and they start reflecting, there's a different path that we can take, right? Than the first thought that comes into our head. And I think that this book, Lealtad, will help people kind of, even with the coping skills on how do you manage anger, how do you manage rage. And then I think it's a powerful, powerful way of helping people, right? Overcome and tap into that forgiveness piece, which is really hard, Jorge. I mean, it's hard. I mean, we have people that do things to us as the years progress, and then you're like, you we're holding all this grudge, right? Especially with these uh bosses of us of ours.
The thing is that if we hold on to the hurt, we cannot have healthy relationships with anybody, really, not
Mhm.
with ourselves. I have read that in order to have a relationship, a profound relationship with God, that I had to be healthy, and I didn't comprehend it at the time. But I began to write the book. I began to understand that it was true. And one of my aspects also is that I wanted to have a healthy relationship with a woman that where I wouldn't be all marred with guilt and everything. And
Mhm.
I understood that to have positive relationships, we had to be healthy. We had to go through the process of healing. And that's what Lealtad meant to me. I mean, it took me 3 years until the book was complete. So it took me quite a while. It was my
Mhm.
first book. I never written a novel, and I only written short stories at the time. So yes, that's how somehow the process went.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just mention something really quick here to whoever's watching today. What we want you to do is pick up his book, pick up Lealtad. You're going to be able to get it. Let me go ahead and show you where you can get this awesome book. You're going to see the QR code right here on this side. And you can go ahead and click on it. And we're going to share the link where you can go and get this book, Lealtad. It's a powerful book. Like Jorge mentioned, it's a fictional story. It's a story within a story, which is really powerful. And at the same time, what I want to really take the time to tell other people, other authors, is that um, you can also turn your story into a book, a brand, a legacy. I have the Authors Accelerator Launchpad, which you can join, and it's also here. The link is going to be here. If you want to join that Authors Accelerator Launchpad, it's a dynamic community designed for aspiring and emerging authors who are ready to write, publish, promote their books with confidence. So go ahead and join us there. Jorge is showing the book right here. And here is the link above me where you can go and get the book. It is a powerful book, and you're going to absolutely fall in love with it. And then join, like I said, the Accelerator Launchpad and share. You're also going to find the link up here. Share. We're going to have different book talks. We're going to have this book there. You can talk about it with the authors. You can talk about other books and opportunities, because tapping into stories, sometimes even, Jorge, when people read books, it's like we're diving into a different dimension. It's not
Yes, absolutely.
real,
Yes.
but you're diving into that dimension of something that maybe we want to be able to experience, maybe something, if we haven't traveled to another country, traveled to another experience, then we travel into a fictional story, don't you think?
Well, it's actually real. I believe that the stories bring a certain reality to what we're reading because we connect it with our lives, and what we have lived, it's real to us. So it's very much real the way I see it. For me, this book, though it's fictional, it's something that's real. It's based in some real events that happen, very several events that happen here there in the book, incorporated as fiction. They have a based on real experiences that took place within my life at some point. Not all of them, but some of them. Yes. So yes, the connection. Yes, it's to me it's real. Because when I was in the process of deciding how to write my story, because we all have a life story and we have to decide how to tell it. I decided that biography was not for me. But I love fiction because fiction allow me to go deeper into the event, the profound ramifications of certain events. It gave me a freedom That's why I love writing fiction, literary fiction. And this book is experimental literary fiction, which I had to learn the term. After I finished, I asked my editor, I said, what's this book? I know there's fiction, I know there's literary fiction, but to say it's experimental literary fiction because of several elements. The playing with the time, the story within the story, and other elements that happen in experimental literary fiction, which is a complex term, but for me now, when I ask somebody, when I'm promoting the book, the only thing that I ask them, I don't ask them whether they read fiction, or I ask them, do you like to read? If they say yes, I have a book that you may like. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. Now, just the thought, many people carry pain that they have never spoken about. So, if someone's listening today and is carrying a story that they've never shared, what message would you want to give them today?
To say that healing is possible, we have to make a conscious decision whether we want to continue to live in pain. Because sometimes when we hold the pain, we are not going to let go of what that person did to us. But what's the alternative? To hold to that pain forever. And we have to make the decision whether we want to live a healthy life or one where we are burdened with what someone did to us. I chose to live my life fully. And that's a personal decision that each person has to make. It's a very personal, and nobody can influence you or tell you what to do. But life is beautiful, and why not live it fully?
I love that. Yeah. Life is beautiful. Why aren't you going to live it fully? I really love that. Well, Jorge, my goodness, like I really want to thank you for sharing your story, for your insights with us today. Books like Lealtad remind us that healing is possible and that our voices matter. So I am truly, truly grateful that I met you in Frankfurt, Germany, that you're here today in the book talk, and that we're going to be able to share this to many, many other people, because it's going to keep going. You're going to find it in YouTube, in LinkedIn. We're going to put it up there, and then in Facebook, of course. And we will have some clips for you so that you can promote. So we are delighted that you said yes to the book talk. And
My
again,
pleasure.
you will find the link above where you can take a snapshot. You're going to see the QR code, and then we'll put the link below so that you can go order the book. And anything else, Jorge?
Yes, one small detail. The book now it's available in English and in Spanish through Amazon. And through books.by, I only have the English version there. I have to upload that Spanish version within a few weeks. So within a few weeks, it will be available also in both languages. But yes, I had it translated, and I wanted to reach the Spanish market. I've seen where the book is available, and it's pretty much available throughout the world. I've seen it's available in Korea and Italy, in England. And I wanted, since I'm Chilean by birth, so I wanted to reach the Latin American market as well in Spain. So yes, in that small detail.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So for anybody watching, to everyone who's watching or listening today, if this conversation has touched your heart, I encourage you to go and explore Jorge San Martin's book, Lealtad. This book is more than a story. It's a journey through pain, courage, forgiveness, and ultimately healing. Now, Lealtad reminds us that being loyal to ourselves is the first step towards becoming whole again. So if you or someone you know has experienced trauma, silence, or emotional wounds, like this book can offer perspective, reflection, and hope. So you can find Lealtad by Jorge San Martin online. You can see the QR code. It's up here, up here above me, and you can go buy it. It's on Amazon Books .buy. And I encourage you to go pick up a copy and read it. Read the book. Jorge, show them the book again. Yeah, that is the book. Go
One
and get
small,
the book.
one small detail. As an author, I use the name Jorge San Martin Zambrano. That's the author name that I've chosen. I chose it pretty much because of the older icons of Latin American literature use normally there are two last names. So I decided to use Zambrano. So if you look it up online, if you put Jorge San Martin Zambrano, it'll come up.
Exactly. Yes. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I also want to say before we end, give me a second before we end, before we close, if you've been thinking about writing a book, I want to invite you to join our author accelerator launchpad. You're going to find the QR code above and you will find the link. It's a global community created through Be Global Publishing, where aspiring authors receive writing prompts, accountability, networking, and tools to finally turn their ideas into a book, and a published book, in fact. So right now, we are opening it to our founding members, and it's free until we reach 100 authors. So if you want to be in that founding authors free membership, you have to click and join today. Now join the Authors Accelerator Launchpad and start writing your legacy book today. And I am super excited. Again, thank you so much, Jorge, for today's book talk. And again, for all of you listening, I am Angelica Benavides, known as Dr. B, and I'm reminding you that stories have the power to heal, transform, and inspire. So until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and keep sharing your stories with the world. I will see you in our next book talk, and I expect you to show us your Lealtad book in social media. Tell us, show it to us, take a picture with it, and we will have a raffle. I'm going to have a raffle for those of you that are showing it. I'm going to put you in a raffle, and I'm going to give you a $25 Amazon gift card. So it will end. I'm going to give you a date when it's going to end. So we're hoping that you go ahead and join us. It will end on March 21st. So I'm going to be looking out for those books of Lealtad. If you buy any, you will join a raffle, and I will send you an Amazon gift card. So thank you, Jorge. Thank you so much. I'm excited. And we will keep sharing our stories here. So here we go. Give me a second.
A book without movement is just paper. And your story deserves more than that. At B Global Publishing, we don't just publish books, we build movements. If you're ready to turn your idea into a real income-producing book and grow inside a powerful community of authors, join the Authors Accelerator Launchpad. If your message is ready for the World Book Tour is where we take your voice global and turn your story into a movement. And if you're ready to be seen right now, come on PowerTalk with Dr. B for your book talk, where your story gets the spotlight it deserves. Your story is too powerful to stay small. Let's take it to the world together.